ITSM Weekly, the podcast bringing you news, insight, analysis, and information from the world of IT service management. Your hosts, Matthew Hooper, Chris Dancy, and Matt Barron. IT Service Management Weekly, the podcast starts now.
Welcome to ITSM Weekly, the podcast, episode number 79 for the week ending December 2011. CIO headline sim market business information over.
I can't tell you how much I miss that. It's been so long since we recorded together, the three of us. Anyways, headline news I think is just really crazy right now. It's all this IPO fever.
Yeah.
Everybody's IPOing their companies, and I don't know. Stock prices they haven't really done well. So I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to any of this, but Groupon went IPO and other stock is down.
Hooper, the most important thing to remember about IPO fever is you can't spell IPO without Ponzi.
You can't spell IPO without poo.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't spell Ponzi without IPO.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it makes the question: is it working, or is it just killing the employee stock options? I mean, think of how hard we work for companies if we think they're going to go IPO and we're going to make some money and. Your salary's okay, but you could really, turn around your lifestyle if it actually went off someplace. I don't know. It's just reminiscent of.
I mean, everybody at ServiceNow, I'm sure they're all thinking, I'm going to make a bunch of money. I've been through 2 IPOs. Both times I made enough money that I could have bought a really nice car. You don't make any money on these types of things. Yeah. People are just out of their minds.
Yeah. Other news is YouTube announcing a pay-per-view option. Did you guys see this? They're taking their paying channels now. You can watch movies and download movies. So it makes our guest for this episode has a freemium model, and she converts people into a paid subscribe model. I think they've mastered it fairly well. This freemium idea of there's something a free service like YouTube, so many people use it. No one pays for it, right?
Yeah.
Advertising, I guess, has been okay. Do they really think that they're going to make money from this paywall with Hulu and Netflix and some of the other players out there? I mean, are they really going to pick up market share?
Well, Hulu and Netflix don't have any Disney movies, and my girls are screaming Disney movies, so YouTube's getting my money there.
No, because it's Disney.
And I'll tell you one thing. I'm in Europe, and I can't get Netflix.
Yeah.
So I've been forced to go to iTunes and rent movies at $2.99 a pop every night. So, I don't know if they'll make money or not, but if YouTube has movies that's, easy for me to get to and that I can get globally, then they've got my money.
Yeah, localization stinks. I was listening to a song yesterday on Spotify. I listened to it. I got to the end. My wife goes, I love that song. Play it again. So I put it back on. Couldn't play it. It's not available in the U.S. anymore. I just happened to have like a cached copy, so it played once, and I couldn't play it again. It just went away. Gone. Terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, nice try.
It's horrible. I once had Chris Matchett actually buy a CD for me from London and then or download it for me because you could get it from the iTunes store in the UK but not in the US.
Well, you and Skep were talking about this on Twitter, weren't you? Didn't you say something about rights issues and he was like, it's not about protection of IP?
Well, that's just because I don't know. I think Rob's been missing his medication lately because he's yellow one minute and purple the next. He's always going on about IP and protecting IP, but then the next sentence he goes, I hate these region codes on DVD. And I kind of tongue-in-cheek said to him, well, you can't have it both ways, buddy.
Yeah, but I think his point was that it's not about IP. It's about protecting royalties within.
Region codes are completely about IP.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go in here. Oh well. It's back to the three of us, and we only have 10 minutes, and we're ready to fight. I'm ready to climax.
Speaking of YouTube, though, did you? They released their statistics yesterday. The October statistics. In October, there are enough movies played that everyone on Earth played 3 movies on YouTube. Can you believe that? That's so many. I just can't believe it.
It's because they're minute-long movies. They're minute-long movies. They're not 45 or hour and a half long movies. They're all like a minute 35 seconds.
It's still for people who are in the eyeballs and ears business, marketing, YouTube is where it's at. There's so many eyeballs there. It is unbelievable.
Hooper, I had to ask you from your executive view, what did you think about Adobe finally folding and saying, okay, screw you, Flash?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't hear about that at all.
Okay.
That's breaking news.
Hooper, NewsGator doesn't do... Dead NewsGator. Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, Adobe said they threw in the towel and they said, okay, we're giving up on mobile Flash. It's all HTML5. Sorry, Steve was right all along. Rest in peace.
I think it's a mistake, honestly, from my perspective, from what I've seen, where Flash has gone and what it's taken us to. HTML5, it'd be great to have some of the intelligence behind it. I guess it depends on how much they get on board.
Yeah.
I don't know about. Let me take back my opinion because I really don't know enough about it.
They're not killing. They're not killing Flash. They're killing mobile Flash.
Yeah.
No, I understand, but look what Flash can do, and look what its capabilities are, right? And, I would have a product out the door if I had just built in an Adobe Air. My developer, who's always yelling at me, if I just done this in Air, it would be done. I didn't. I just Doug and I just said we're not going down that path. We're not going that path because it's a commitment and it locks us in. But I wish I had that capability. And so it depends on what they put into HTML5. If they jump on board and open source this, then great.
Flash. Oh. Anything else? CIO, startup world?
No more news. Nothing else going on.
That's it? That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Well, listen, I've been noticing you've been hitting the gym a lot on the Foursquare. And I've been seeing all your posts trying to hire a PHP or a developer of some type. So hope things are going good.
Trying to stay healthy business-wise and personally.
Nice.
You're so sweet. Matt Barrett, NewsGator HDI, community practitioner.
I like the little edgy scream thing at the end. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I try.
So, great new news site that I've been using recently, The Verge. If you haven't checked it out, definitely take a look at it for subscribing. It's sort of like Engadget and TechCrunch and those others that are sort of in that same genre, but they seem to be just a step ahead of everyone else and a little bit more inclusive than everyone else. So if you're an RSS fan, check it out.
Cool.
Or if you want it all filtered, just follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll just do that instead.
But then we have to look at that awkward picture of you trying to look like a hipster.
I don't know how to take that. I think that's a compliment, but I can't tell.
You know the picture I'm talking about. Your new avatar.
Oh, yes.
You're trying to be all cute.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For a while there, I had one where it looks like I'm kind of angry, and my wife yelled at me for having that. And avatars are a weird thing.
I just want you to shave your 1997 lip.
Okay, I will, but then you're going to see my butt chin. Are you okay with that?
We won't go there. Any other news?
Cool article I read last week. I didn't get a chance to talk about it when Shane was on. Screens and contact lenses. Anyone who's a futurist fan knows that it's coming. I think it's fantastic. I can't wait to put a screen in my eye. Read an article today of a CIO killing email at his company. I'm sure you guys have seen this by now. It's one of the consulting firms.
Within 3 years. Within the 3 years. I think there's a three-year window on it. It's a European company.
Yeah, 42,000 employees getting rid of email. Go to a Facebook-like format. Got a little inside scoop on what sort of tools they're looking at, but can't go there just yet. That's my NewsGator. Now we need the news social media tools.
News power. It's a very fast news section today. You know why it's the fast news section today, Hooper and Barron? Because I can't get no. Hey. All right, guys, just finished up the service desk forum in Mainz, Germany, home of Gutenberg's printing press. I went ahead and saw the Gutenberg Bible. Absolutely amazing. The only thing as transformative as the printing press?
The internet.
Hooper's visits to the gym. Next, HDI. I really, I hate talking about go to conferences. HDI 2012 featuring Michio Kaku, physicist, theoretical physicist, futurist, killer guy. South by Southwest keynote delivering this year, but 2012, Ray Kurzweil.
Whoa.
Cool.
Yeah, no, hello, and I'm going to South by Southwest finally.
So am I.
Oh, we'll be there together. We'll have to do something awkward. Yeah. And my gripe of the week.
It's called this podcast.
Oh, no, you didn't. Serena Software last week. Hey, have you listened to the British one lately? You know, the bar isn't high. Serena Software Stop. Serena Software. How many times do I have to say Serena Software?
I think you're getting money every time.
What do they pay? Are they paying you by the name? God,
I must be. Yeah, I'm now working for Serena Software. I've left ServiceNow. I've left Pink. I'm now officially taking a job a week. I'll be starting at Get Satisfaction next week. I'm the only person who can sell the same dead cat 3 times. So Serena Software is now having a contest where if you make up some type of haiku, you could win an iPad. I'll tell you right now, I'll give any listener out there who doesn't do the contest an iPad. The idea of paying for followers is ridiculous. HDI a year ago was going to donate money to some type of thing if you followed them. Yeah, you know, I love the fact that Serena Software is trying to get into the space. They're trying to get, you know, the attention of the ITSM folks. You know, they've got analysts coming out the butt because I'm watching money fly faster than a prostitute on a weekend binge. But seriously, I said that. But buying followers by saying you'll give them an iPad if they make up a little quiz, for gosh sakes, kids, there are better ways to do this.
It's cheap.
What do you think? Would Smack? Would you guys pay for followers?
No,
of course not.
Careful.
I don't want followers that you pay for. I don't want people following me that are not interested in what I have to say, and I don't want people following my company that are not interested in my company. Followers don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because when they push something out there, I really want readership.
Get a quality product first.
Yeah, well, that'll never happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to follow, if you want to follow anything, Barkley Ray has an account. All right, so we're going to move on. Moving on, we've got a very exciting guest today. We have probably secretly my biggest celebrity crush, Wendy Lee from Get Satisfaction. How are you doing, Wendy?
Oh, I'm terrific. Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm actually in London in the great strikes here. Wendy, I have been fortunate enough to visit the Satisfactory.
It's a lovely place, isn't it?
It really is. And I enjoy saying out loud, the Satisfactory. Can you give, before we get into Get Satisfaction and My Love Affair, can you give Hooper and Barrett an idea of this Satisfactory and where this concept came from and just what it's like to be there?
Sure. Well, the concept of the Satisfactory was really born in the very beginning when Thor Mueller, his wife Amy, and Lane created the company. Because the whole notion of the company, of the product, of the people, of the space we wanted to create was a unique connection between a customer and a company, and making sure that the principles of satisfaction and delight and transparency and openness really pervaded the consciousness of everyone and the physical space too. So from the very beginning, we've called our office and our physical spaces Satisfactory, and it puts smiles on people's faces when they walk in. And we make sure, we have the right mascot, which we have Jargon as our mascot. We have the right, messaging around the office to keep people very focused on the most important thing, and that is loving our customers and helping our companies love their customers too. So it's pretty cool. It's a really fun place to work.
It's awesome. And one of the things I found really interesting is I've been reading so much lately about collaborative workspaces and investing in the right office layouts, almost as if there's some new enterprise feng shui that people have discovered. And I thought to myself, you guys have been doing this forever.
Yeah, we really have. And, there's a lot to say, when it comes to being your highest and best self in a business. I mean, you've got to be able to move around. You've got to have color and light. And, that helps you focus on the things that matter and on the vision and mission of the company. And so I think we've done a really good job. We're really proud of that. In fact, we're about to move to a new office I was there yesterday, and it's going to be even more magnificent, which is pretty cool.
I'll try to sneak some photos into the show notes
That'd be
that I
great.
took while I was there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Although I'm sure I didn't ask anybody permission, but I kept snapping them as fast as I could because I was just so excited to be there. Now, Wendy, our listeners are largely IT folks, and almost every analyst out there, because they need something to write about, so they listen to people who actually are current. And they don't quite understand, I think, this idea of collaborative support would be an easy way to say it. In your words, could you define get satisfaction, not for my audience, but from your point of view as a company product offering?
Sure. So let me start by making a statement about the social web, because I think it's really important for our audience to understand the implication of the social web when it comes to providing support for consumers and customers of any product and service of any size company. So what we know for sure now is that the social web has permanently changed the way customers interact with companies, brands, products, services they have passion about. And the reason for that is that information flows freely in and out of a customer's network of friends, fans, and followers. And it's that information that has so much credibility. And so I've been in CRM, as you know, since the 80s. This is a long time, right? And in the beginning, when we were...
That's not possible. I've met you. You look like you're at least 20.
Okay, thank you very much. For a long time I've been in CRM. And in the beginning, of course, the notion of CRM was how can a company build a good relationship with their customers? But it was very inside out. We were inside the company thinking about the best way to message to them, to work with them, and to support them. And so it was a very high-touch, process-oriented play. But this was before everybody was online. And before, not only were we online, but now we're interacting in very sophisticated social systems, oftentimes walking around on the street, right? So the dynamic for service and support people has changed so much because of the nature of how people are interacting with a company, with each other, and just the flow of that information. So Get Satisfaction, launched in 2007, specifically targeted at helping companies create unique connections with their customers online by setting up a community place like the Satisfactory, but this is an online Satisfactory, right? So this is a community place where customers would want to come. And when they came to the community place, to this online community, they would feel so open, like they would be at a local coffee shop. They would talk in words that were open and candid and honest. They wouldn't kind of couch things, right? And they would say, here's what I need. Here's my question. Here's an idea. Let me express my passion about your product. And by creating a space that was open and honest, these consumers would, of course, attract their friends, their fans and followers, those folks that also shared passion for that product. It could be coffee, it could be shoes, it could be diapers. It could be a business-to-business offering. It doesn't matter, right? But they were bringing those other like-minded people together. And while that was happening, a company could then get involved. And not get involved in a way that would pull those conversations into a queue so much, right? It wasn't about getting everyone lined up like lemmings. It was about involving in the conversation in a very normal, natural way, using the language that their customers understood, not just the packaged language of a company. So the Get Satisfaction community was specifically designed to help customers come together to solve problems, share ideas, express praise. While doing that, encourage the company to participate in a natural way that would allow the company to better serve the customer. And really, at the end of the day, that's what, social, really what it means is be consumer friendly. Social just means, as a consumer, I'm anywhere I want to be, online, expressing what I want to express. And, if a company wants to participate in those conversations, Get Satisfaction is an essential platform for that participation, because the platform itself allows a company to be where customers are inside social systems like Facebook or Google Plus, as well as connected to very important enterprise applications, which could be Oracle, Salesforce, Remedy, Sugar CRM, whatever applications, customer-oriented applications the company has chosen. So I think this is a magnificent time for call center and service-oriented professionals to not just give over social to marketing. I understand that this looks like a marketing opportunity, and from a customer acquisition standpoint it is, but this is the time for service professionals to have a forward stance into what social means to them in terms of loyalty and retention, and then if that happens, customers buy more as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, is that why you think that this is such an exciting time? Because the onus of service definition has basically shifted to the customers?
It's been shifting, and it's shifted because of the online activity, right?
Yeah.
And it's shifted because of a sharing society, right? So once our consumers and customers realized what benefit they got from sharing with each other, right? And then they realized the benefit of that sharing, the impact that had on their own brands. Things really changed. So yeah, customer service is the new marketing. That was a mantra we started with in 2007. We continue to believe in that deeply. And, social systems like Facebook and Get Satisfaction connected to that system really amplifies that mantra beautifully.
So that's when you talked specifically about it was a ZDNet interview. I remember reading, you said, be where they are, and speaking about the customers. So
Yes.
is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Customers are on Facebook and they're already talking about this stuff. So you can't stick your head in the sand. You have to get involved and see what's going on, what they're talking about.
Yeah, be where they are is very important. And so let's be specific with that. First, where are your customers? They're online. Now that we know for sure.
Now, Wendy, I've seen a couple of your interviews because I don't want to ask the same question that every other interviewer is always asking you. And this is actually the second time now that you referred to it as a community, and I was sort of surprised when I heard that. Mm-hmm. It makes sense that it is a community, but I just want to understand the tool a little bit better maybe. Does it allow for customer-to-customer interaction beyond sort of like a thumbs up, thumbs down on ideas and problems?
So it really, I refer to our capability as an engagement platform.
Yeah.
And on that platform are a number of applications.
Yeah.
And one of the applications that we offer is a social support application.
Okay.
And how that application manifests is a community product.
Yes.
So when a consumer is inside it, it looks like a forum with more social features to it, right? And
okay.
The face of the community product was designed with a consumer in mind, not just for a business.
Not the enterprise. Yeah.
And so that's the lovely part of it, right? Because it allows the answers or our ideas to be brought up through search, and that allows for very strong resolution, which encourages consumers to come back, right? Because in the forums of old, they were messy. You couldn't find your answer, and it was not a very positive experience. This is a different kind of experience designed for the customer.
So let me laud some just praise and information on our listeners. So, not only, I think, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 punch, but, first you've got something that like you said, it's very consumer friendly looking. The price point is remarkable. It's software as a service based delivered. But then you took it to a whole nother level with launching a Facebook integration. So it's one thing when I'm out and I'm speaking to IT support organizations around the globe, and I show them your product from a web point of view, and, from one of your flagship customers. But then I just drop them into Facebook and say, your texts are on Facebook anyway. They might as well work.
That's right.
And then recently, you just did another home run and said, you know what? Not only are they in Facebook, but they're in Facebook on their mobile devices.
Correct.
And you've launched now a mobile solution.
Right.
You wrap all this around the confluence of CRM, meeting enterprise tools, and a consumer wrapper. And how can you not just never want to go home and just sit there and just smile all day?
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't go home. And when I go home, I'm still working because it's so exciting. But you're right. And I appreciate you saying that. Pragmatically, our service is in the cloud. So we've got that going for us, right? So there's a lot of agility there, and there's high scale opportunities. So we're multi-tenant SaaS, and that's a good thing for enterprises, right? Folks understand that now. We can thank Salesforce and other cloud providers for setting that stage, right? So that's good. That's check. The second thing is we are very, very easy to implement. This is not a long, onerous, have to get a system integrator, big consulting gig, go through a lot of process engineering. That is not what this is. Now, we know where CRM came from, and we know that was important then. These days, companies of all sizes, especially the larger ones, they want to get up and running fast. And for the most part, two things exist, and this is very important. What exists is some kind of a service and support portal, right? Those assets are in play. The agent console, the knowledge base. There's certain assets that are just in play. And those processes have been engineered to support those software assets. The other thing that's in play in most companies, or should be, is some kind of a presence inside Facebook, right?
You would think. You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
Well, if we don't have that, then we need to get on, we need to hurry up, right? Because this is not even expensive. But what is not in place is what Get Satisfaction provides so beautifully. And that is a hub, the connection between Facebook and these assets of record at a very low price point.
Yeah.
So we're not into making this a high-end six-figure investment. Those days are over. Companies need to move fast. Social is on the move. Social means get close to your customers wherever they are. So we want it to be easy to acquire. We want the experience that companies have with us to be fast and fun, and they can plug in this particular application on any page of their web asset, right, with little technical support, and then they can extend that into Facebook and up and running. Now, there are some, for your audience in particular, there are some skills and knowledge that need to be considered, because this is online activity that needs to be curated and worked with, right? And it's different than just sending an email back and forth, because so there are different skills required there. I would encourage your team to look at hiring journalist majors, right? People that have majored in journalism, people that are good writers and that really understand how to write online. Those skills are quite important for us in service in the coming future, because social really puts language in a different light, right? We don't want long sentences that are complex and, that kind of thing. This is very short and snappy and in open, transparent language. So that's an important thing for your audience to understand. But we want it to be easy and fun because customers want it to be easy and fun.
Yeah.
It is easy.
And I think our audience and tech in general struggle with what types of skill sets do they need for the next 5 years.
I know.
Yep.
So I'm 43 years old. I'm going to be working for 20 years.
Right.
What types of skills are important? Can I get by with my technical certifications, or do I need to look at new things? And to me, again, I show Get Satisfaction to traditional audiences, and I always say to them, you notice that it's give praise, report a problem, suggest an idea.
That's a good question.
And I always remind them, I said, that what's unique about what you're looking at versus what your customers, your internal IT customers are used to, is when they go to your portal, they're just there to report a problem. They're not given the choice.
That's right.
To offer an idea. They're not given the choice to offer an idea. They're not given the option to be happy. Your support tickets will dramatically decrease because you gave people the choice to do two other things than be angry: give praise or offer an idea. You drop support automatically by just saying you can smile while you're here.
Beautifully said. It's very powerful.
It's more disruptive than anything's happened in the enterprise in 2 decades.
No, I appreciate you saying that.
I can give you my perspective, Wendy. I'm a customer as well too. We deployed Get Satisfaction back in August, and it to me. So my background is I've been a CIO. I've been working in the service management space for many years and deployed lots of service desks and lots of satisfaction tools like survey tools and what are not satisfaction tools but were classified as satisfaction tools.
Yeah.
And so I was a bit skeptical because it didn't seem that it could be this easy. And when we put the JavaScript on the pages, and all of a sudden there was a feedback button, I'm looking at it, and I was a believer because of Chris's recommendation, and we've talked about you at least 50 times on this podcast.
Yes.
And so when I saw the feedback button, I said, are people really going to hit that? Are people going to use that? And what I find myself now as the CEO of this, I'm a startup software CEO myself. People call me up or they say things to me. I tell them now, go back and hit the feedback button and put that in there, would you? Because now we don't make a decision about our product unless it's in Get Satisfaction.
Yes.
We don't prioritize in any functionality unless it's been plussed.
Yes.
Unless there's been an idea that's been voted up. So it's like this has become our governance tool for what is really dictating the future of our product. So, for me, it was so easy, so powerful, and now so critical. That is a blend of a great company, so that's great for you and financial investors of you, but it's also great for the industry, because I think a lot of folks like myself had the mindset of it just can't be that easy. We need big servers and we need big things.
I think you're right, and you know what? Maybe we think that because it's always been hard.
Yes.
Right. Think about it. Like, we've been in the industry a long time, and customer satisfaction was the back end of the value chain. What we received is the back end of bad product, bad sales, right? Or not selling clearly, not explaining well. And so this, service and support folks, that's what I did at Siebel, as you know. Basically, I was on the red account team, right, where I would go and talk to customers that were very unhappy with Siebel software. And it's not because it wasn't a good product. It was because it wasn't sold properly or people didn't understand. And I would sit there, and it would be hard all the time. And expectations were high, right? Expectations were high, not just because of the investment. It's because companies want their customers to be happy. They want to serve them well. So I think it's been hard in the past, and we made investments internally that were, very expensive and very hard to implement, and they required a lot of training and people lining up and kind of being structured in a way that maybe wasn't even so natural for the human condition, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, we tried to make it cool and put little headsets and put them in cubes or whatever, but no one wants to be restrained like that. You can't create happiness for yourself or your customers that way. So get satisfaction philosophically is completely different. And I love getting the feedback because it is a different way of looking at satisfaction overall. It's just a different way of looking at it. And I think it's the right way to look at it now because it's time for all businesses to understand that customers want to participate actively
Yes, they do.
in the business.
Yeah.
They want to. And if you can give them an opportunity to and not be afraid, please, get out of the control issue because control is an illusion. If you can allow customers to freely, openly shape the business, which doesn't mean you have to do everything they think. You don't have to agree to everything or respond to everything. But if you can hear them and engage them with their own peers, as well as with folks inside your company, this is a winning proposition.
It scares enterprises.
And you can look at businesses like Zappos, and you can look, there are lots of examples of folks who use customer satisfaction as a core part of their culture, like us. And you need lightweight tools and open conversation to do that, supported by open conversation. So I'm just honored to be a part of this movement. It's a movement, right?
I think you're setting a precedent too.
I like being part of it. I want to lead the way. So, especially service professionals like you guys know, and as you're part of that team, so they're not afraid. I was at ICMI recently in Dallas. And, I haven't been in those kinds of things in many, many years, right? And
Hasn't
I went
changed.
to kind of get it, and it hasn't.
No.
And I'm like, gosh, we talked about the same things we talked about a decade ago, maybe more thoughtfully, maybe with more experience. But, social is not a toy. This is not a toy. This is an essential philosophy of getting close to your customers and being where they are. This is essential to business in the next century. And as soon as everyone grabs hold of whatever piece of it they can tolerate for a time and get used to it, they'll be better off as a result of it.
I think consumer side, though, is always very quick to kind of adopt this. And I think what you're doing is you're setting a precedent for the enterprise that once people become more used to seeing that feedback button on every site they go to, when they go into their enterprise tools and they don't have it, they're going to be saying, hey, where's my button to click to tell you how badly of experience I'm having right now? Or how much I loved what you just did for me.
Yes.
So it may not be here today, but it's coming.
Yes.
I look at Get Satisfaction and I see, as you mentioned, an engagement platform, but I see it not just for customers, I see it for teams.
Yes.
I said this jokingly, and I totally am crazy enough, but if I could get a personal version of Get Satisfaction for my Facebook profile, I would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because my friends either want to share an idea with me, they want to tell me something cool, they want to tell me something, you know what I mean? The model just works at the most basic level, which is a human level, and scales all the way to the enterprise. And the key comes down to enabling leadership to understand that loss of control, because it is an illusion, is an enabler. And that if you're not moving fast, and moving fast means listening to a lot of things at once, you're going to be left behind. And it's so important. Like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have spent this year traveling to 6 continents. And, I speak about all the traditional help desk tools, all the traditional ITIL and IT service management things. But I end every single time with Get Satisfaction. Because at the end of the day, we've got to pay attention. We've got to wake up. Like you said, we talked about this 10 years ago. I'll tell you one thing: we won't be talking about it 10 years from now.
I agree. The example you provided about using Get Satisfaction for internal teams. It's an interesting one, and we do have some customers that use us that way. For now, though, I know you can respect the position we're in as a business, right? We have to, right now, we're very focused on the external part of our capability and helping companies use us that way. But there's no reason why, and again, we have customers that use us internally. I think right now, just to riff a little on collaboration, This is not a new word, right? We've been talking about collaborating since the beginning of time. And I think few businesses or even individuals understand what that means. And I think social in particular has put collaboration in a new light. And again, when I use the term social, I really think of it in terms of consumers, customers being actively involved in products, services, and brands they have passion about. So to me, social means I am in a place where I can express myself, right? And as a result of expressing myself, there's some benefit that comes back to me and my network of friends, fans, and followers. So when you really understand social systems, you see that there's a lot of reciprocity. When Wendy pushes a post about something that's interesting to her fans, there's a lot of feedback back to me, and that encourages me to do it again, right? I mean, there's a nice loop there. Collaboration it can really be stronger as a result of that. What I mean by that is to really collaborate with your customers, you have to understand the concept of interdependency of need. What that means is I can't be successful unless you are. And when a company really embodies that and they recognize that their success is highly dependent on the success of their customers and using their product or service, you've got step one of collaboration nailed. But a lot of companies don't really embrace that well. And then once you have an understanding of interdependency of need, then you can talk about influence, right? You can talk about the power to influence each other. And from that comes trust. And I think we're in an era, and we could talk about this philosophically, we won't. We're in an era in the world and in our country and every place, right, where things are transparent. We are looking for companies and products and services and politicians to trust, right? We want that. And now that everyone's online and listening to everything, what's the special connection that will allow us to truly collaborate? And I think tools like Get Satisfaction, which bring like-minded people together and allow companies to participate, in a way that's comfortable for their consumers, to allow them to shape. I mean, I think it's the future. It is the future of collaboration. And I think it's going to put the whole notion of collaboration for a company in a different light, a much more valuable light, a much more pragmatic light, because it's not some pointy-headed concept that people write about. It is something that people can experience online inside Get Satisfaction. I'm excited to be a part of that, and I'm honored to lead the way so other companies can understand it.
I have to just ask if you can, in just a short sentence, which is almost impossible because I could listen to you for days. What do you think of this concept that's 4 years old now? You built on this idea of collaboration and moved it all the way into the trust aspect. What is your personal take on the reputation economy?
My personal take on the reputation economy.
Yeah, so if we were to, like Wendy, the person, if we were to say, could you imagine a future where tools were actually influenced as you entered them for the first time based on the reputation you carried throughout, and because of how, almost a cyber karma, if you would. You've always done good things on sites. You carry out an internet cookie of some sort, so that this reputation economy says, by default, we know you're trustworthy, and we know you. Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Absolutely. I think I'm not sure I could outline, nor you're not asking me to, but the technology stack to support it, right? But in terms of the principles of it, that's possible, right? And it's possible now because, again, the activity online, the expressions online, and I think there's absolutely a way to gauge, to score and gauge someone's overall influence. There's also ways that you can probably take advantage of that, which I personally have issues with. But like with everything else, right? I think more often people will be honest than not. That's just, I'm from the South, so I believe that, that people wake up with an intention to be honest and not dishonest. Yeah. But I think that could be, I think that's definitely an opportunity for the future. I think that, and I think there are lots of technologies being developed right now to support that. And I think that will help companies, because then they'll know, what someone's reputation is, and they won't react one way or, they won't react or respond in a way that's inappropriate. Like the squeaky wheel always gets the attention. And I think that could really help us. Yeah, like someone goes on to Twitter and goes on a rage against your product or service, and all of a sudden they get all the attention. That's right. And meanwhile, everyone else, doesn't get what they need. Exactly. And my whole idea of this reputation, when it comes to support is, we grew up in IT with file permissions that were read, write, and full. Mm-hmm. It was like yes, no, mm-hmm. and maybe. Mm-hmm. And I really see in a social context of support that this idea of going beyond read, write, modify, and full control to saying, based on what, I look at the kind of stuff that you tweet, and you have a reputation to uphold it. If you tweet garbage or you start doing things that are not satisfactory, yes. You lose followers. Yes. And the same type of activity I see happen in Get Satisfaction. And that's where, again, I look forward into the next 18 months, 36 months, and I really see the rise of a new type of social file system that you guys are literally on the forefront of creating. Interesting. I think you're exactly right. And that's something that our product brain should be working on. And I'm sure someone back in the house is. I know Thor in particular, our one of our co-founders, always felt strongly about that being a layer that should be considered in our product, and we'll continue to work on that and watch other startups, work on it as well. Yeah. What I would end on is, again, knowing your audience very well, kind of coming from that background. There could not be a more exciting time to be a service and support professional. This is the time for all of us who care about our customers to get out of our comfort zone, relative to all the software assets and the processes and the IVRs that we purchase to kind of manage and control and measure, right? And all that's all table stakes now, right? It's in place. It can all be improved, but those improvements are incremental. Right? Yeah. All those improvements are incremental. They are not transformative. So if I'm in your audience, I am looking for an opportunity to keep that stuff in place, those assets, those processes, to keep that going. And I am now stepping into a transformational time and engaging in social in ways that will allow me to get closer to my customer wherever they are. And I'm going to go for that, right? I'm not going to watch it happen. I'm going to be part of it happening. And so that's what I would say to your audience. And anything we can do to help, not just with the product, but with thoughts and ideas and other resources, please call on us to do so, because that's our job, is to be thought leaders in this social support industry.
I love it. I'm going to print that off and hang it on my wall.
It's the second year we've been doing this, and our audience has grown so very much. And we only have 2 shows left for the rest of the year, and we're meeting with the CIO of Rackspace to talk about their support systems next week. Oh, nice. Yeah, and nice. But you've always been a big fish for me to get on the show, because you're an intelligent, powerful entrepreneur. You're a thoughtful woman, and just an amazing spirit. And for me personally, you're an inspiration. So thank you so much for being on the show today. Oh, thank you so much. That's so very kind. You've made my day. You've made my day. I really appreciate being on the show, and thanks for supporting Get Satisfaction wherever you go.
Thank you so much, Wendy.
Okay, sweetheart. Thanks so much. Okay, this has been ITSM Weekly with Chris Barron and Hooper and Wendy Lee from Get Satisfaction. And we will catch up with you all in 1 week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
This was ITSM Weekly. Thank you for listening. For more information about this podcast and ITSM news, go to itsmweekly.com.